Welcome to the live and happy New Year's Eve. This is one of my favorite holidays, or if you want to call it a holiday, because this is a time where we can start creating a new life moving forward, but not with goals, not with initiation of new things, but with, oh, hello, but with taking the time to integrate and reflect on what we learned and received from the previous year. And this is something I've been doing for a few years now. And I'm so excited to see the world starting to catch up to this, because most people think that the new year is January 1st, but it's a new year of the cycle of 365 days, a calendar year. But the actual new year, where it's about goals, initiation, and doing stuff, is actually in the spring. And I'm so happy to see that people are starting to realize that, because why this is important to know is that I do not want you to get defeated because you set all of these goals in the beginning of this year, and then by the 3 months you did not accomplish anything, because that was not the time for you to accomplish anything. It's a time for you to sit still. So what we're going to do in this live today, I'm going to show you why January is not the time of initiation or goals, but it's the time for reflection and going within. And then I'm going to share with you some of the things that I've learned in 2025. And if you want to also share what you are going to take with you in 2026, you can do that. Okay? And the best way that I love to learn and reveal anything in this dimension that we are in is through astrology. Astrology is a great tool to help guide you through your journey. And this is something that I've learned this year, that astrology is a tool to help you on your journey, to help make sense of what is going on in your journey. And so astrology is a great way to show you why January is not the time to initiate goals and take action on that. Because everybody and their mama be like, I'm gonna go to the gym, and that's such an Aryan thing to do, is go to the gym and lose weight, because Aries is governed by Mars, and it's about movement, action, fight, and all of that, sports. That's such an Aryan thing to do. Not saying that Capricorn energy doesn't do that, but when I think about some of the stuff that people talk about that they're going to do in the beginning of the year, that's one of those things that stood out to me. So the 3 things that we're going to discuss today is Saturn, Capricorn, and Aquarius, because these are the energies, the astrological energies that are in January, the main energies that is in January, and that is Saturn, Capricorn, and Aquarius. So first, let's talk about Saturn, and I have some notes that I will be reading. Saturn is the teacher, okay? Saturn is the teacher. Saturn governs time, maturity, endings, and integration. So that should be the theme of your new year, is the time, the maturity, the endings, and integration that needs to take place for you to move forward in the new year. See, January is about endings, shedding. That is what Saturn's about. And this is the planet of harvested wisdom, not new desires. Saturn is like, what did you learn? Are you wise, or are you still unwise? And then if you did learn, Saturn will definitely have consequences to you not being aware of the lessons and you applying them. And Saturn asks, What has life already taught you that you can move forward in? That's the question that you want to meditate on. Is what has life already taught you? Not what can I learn new? What this year, what has showed up in your life that has taught you? And some words: reflection, restraint, and honesty are Saturn's language. This is the time to reflect, to restrain, and to be honest about where you are and who you are. And this is about shedding, not adding. It's time for you to shed what no longer serves you, shed what you are no longer serving. This is that time, and this is why Saturn is in the joy. When it's in a certain house, it's the 12th house is the joy of Saturn. Saturn loves being in the 12th house because the 12th house is about retreat. It is about reflection. It's about isolation. It's about isolation. So that's why in the wintertime, even in nature, things are isolated. They're dead. They're going inward. This is a time especially for you to go inward, especially with all the holiday seasons that has come up, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, even New Year's. Now the month of January is like, it's time for you to reflect. It's time for you to isolate yourself. You need to sit with yourself and look at what the wisdom that you received, the lessons that you received, so that you can take these forth. Okay? Hey, love nature. So this is what this time is for. And let's see. So now we're going to go to the two signs that are governed by Saturn, and that is Capricorn and Aquarius. Capricorn is the earth energy, it's the builder, and Aquarius is the air energy, it's the knower, it's the consciousness, and Capricorn is the body of Saturn. So Capricorn just isn't about ambition, it's about responsibility. And that's such a fitting word and time that we're in, is becoming more responsible for who you've become and what you know and what you're going to do moving forward. It's about taking time to see where you are responsible for your life, for everything that has harvested at this point. You are responsible for. And moving forward, you're still going to be responsible for it. But when you can take the time to look at what you've learned and carry responsibility too, you are going to create so much abundance in your life, because to have abundance and to receive, it's a responsibility. Because what you're saying, I'm open to receive, and I'm responsible for the outcome of that. I'm responsible for what I receive and what I don't receive, because guess what? It's your life and it's your journey. So this is the end. Is like, how can I be more responsible for the life that I was given? And the question is, also another question is, what can okay so another question you can ask yourself is, what can you actually sustain? So calling my own self out, I got a list of things that I've learned and that I'm going to embody. But when I really look at this list, I had to sit and be like, okay, girl, you know you ain't about to apply all of this. So be honest with yourself, and what actually are you going to embody that you've already seen that you're going to take forward? And discipline here means devotion to what's real, not forcing outcomes. So I already know on this list of things what I'm willing to devote myself to, what I'm willing to be honest with and keep real. I've learned so many things this 2025, but I know all those things that I learned ain't gonna stick. I know that some of them things I still have some growing to do. So I'm not even going to set myself up to fail. I'm just going to really look at the ones that I'm already seeing the change in my life and embodying. So that's what you want to ask yourself, what actually can you sustain? And that's why I think so many people that say they're going to, and I'm using this as an example because this is the main one. So many people say they're going to lose weight and they're going to exercise when they know they're not about to do that. They like the idea of it. See, that's that Aquarian, that ideas. I like the idea of losing weight. I like the idea of taking care of myself. But without it fully integrating in your body, you know, of what that means and the things that you had to learn when it came to your health and discipline, it ain't gonna stick. You know, if anything, you want to sit down with a coach and talk about other internal things. Work on the internal, not the external yet, because the external is a reflection of the internal. So that's if you want any type of action, it's getting with someone to help you with your internal. Okay? And if you want to seek my services, you can go to my link in my bio, and I have a 30-minute complimentary session so we can discover what that looks like for you. Okay? So then the last thing I have for Capricorn is, this is about structure for longevity, not quick wins. And anybody that know a Capricorn, you know they're all about long term. And that's what you want to take the time to reflect on, the long term, because 365 days is a lot of days. So you want to take this time to think about long term decisions, long term things, that the stuff that you learned. You want to take the time to see how this could be long term for you. And if you can't see that, like these things that you've learned, if you can't see that as long term, then that's okay. That means you still got some layers. But there are some things that you know that you can see how you can carry this in your life, in the forefront of your head and in your heart, to take those things with you for the long term. And for the things that you can't see, it's okay. It's just like you're still learning in those things. And that's what the reflection and the retreat is here to help you, contemplating on your life. This is a time for contemplation. And sometimes I realized that I had to learn that sometimes people don't want to do that. They don't want to take the time to contemplate on their life because they might be disappointed or afraid of what they see. But don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. It's a time for you to see yourself and be honest with yourself, so that you can create the life that you want. And that's what it's about. It's about creation and receiving the life that you want. So Capricorn and Aquarius is here to help you grow. But growth isn't always going to feel good. Growth is going to require some stretching and expansion that's going to make you uncomfortable. And that's what these three energies, these planetary energies, are here to gently guide you in. That uncomfortableness and contemplation and isolation is good sometimes, so that you can hear the divine. Because when you're out here, you know, it's kind of hard for you to, as a channel, because everybody's a channel, for you to receive what it is that you need, because you're not willing to sit down somewhere, be quiet, and go within. Okay, to see what you have built over this year, and to really determine what you know and what is actually wisdom or just information collected along the way. And especially with the information age, there's a lot of information that we just know. There's a lot of things that we know that is just, it's just noise. It's just a lot of noise. We know so much with this phone in our hands. We know so much about things that we don't necessarily need to know. And that's where Capricorn is saying, what's actually useful? What's actually useful for me, and what's not useful, you know? So then we're going to go into Aquarius. And Aquarius, so now we went from Capricorn, the builder. Now we're stepping into the Aquarian, the knower. Okay? So Aquarius is about conscious awareness. It asks, what do you know now that you didn't before? That's a big question. For me, it's like, you got time? That's why I have this notebook, because it's just like, okay, this is where we're at. And it says this is mental clarity after experience. So the 365 days that you live, that's the experience. Now you're stepping in, they're taking time for the mental clarity of it all. Wisdom becomes something you embody, not just understand. And I was gonna make a post about this, just because this is something I learned. Just because someone understands something, it doesn't mean they're gonna do anything about it. And that's why I said, in this information time that we're in, we have unlimited access, and especially with AI, you're gonna understand a lot of things, but do you have the wisdom behind it? Do you have the experience behind it? Has it integrated in your body, in your heart? That's the question. It's not about, because just because you understand something, it's not going to make a transformation for you. So that's the question you want to ask yourself. And then it says, Aquarius carries insight forward, not goals, but perspective. This is the time to analyze your perspective. Look at your perspective. With all that you know, with all your insights, what perspective do you now carry with you? Not goals, but the perspective, because the perspective that one has is what is going to create their reality. What is going to attract all that you want and what you don't want, because it is your perspective, how you perceive. The nervous system is attached to the perspective, the emotions, all of this, the thoughts, the emotions, feelings. That's the soup of your perspective. So what perspective do you have? This is what you want to sit down and ask yourself. The perspective that you have. You can even ask ChatGPT, like, hey ChatGPT, based on everything that I shared with you about my life and everything, what type of perspective do I have? That's how you can use AI. What type of perspective do you have? Because you want to be aware of that. Is it positive or negative? A pessimist or realist? Do you expect the best possible outcome, or are you always looking at the worst case scenario? You want to know these things. Are you spiritual, scientific? Are you atheist? Like, what? Are you religious? What is your perspective? How do you perceive life? What type of insights are you taking forward with you? Okay, so let's see about any more of my notes that I have. Like I said, this is a season of retreat, solitude, and integration. And it's about being silent, being honest, and review are more powerful than declarations. This is what silence, honesty, and review. This is what you are to do right now. And the real work happens before the visible action. Okay? And this is what we're doing now. We are going inward. We're taking the time to go inward. Because what work you do inward is going to be, you're going to see the fruits of that in the spring. Okay? You're tending to the roots of yourself. You're making sure there ain't no weeds. If there is weeds, if the bugs, if the weather got to it, you want to take the time to reflect and contemplate on your roots within yourself. Because you will know what it is by your fruits by spring. Okay? You will know that. Okay? So, before I share some of the things that I learned, does anybody want to share anything that they've learned or what they're reflecting on? This is the time to do that. because I learned a lot, especially after my plant medicine journey. I learned. I did not want to make this video about that, but I just think it's so fitting for me to go through that experience because it sped up so much stuff. So much stuff occurred for me in my plant medicine journey that really was the glue to a lot of things. Okay, hey Boomy. So before I share, Boomy, is there anything you want to share as far as what you have learned? Okay, he left. Okay, so let's get started, and I will do my best to get through this because I want this to be a reference point for anybody that watches this video. I know everybody's out on vacation or whatever, but I wanted to make sure. Oh, you're still here. Okay, I wanted to make sure that I get this video out because I know when New Year's hit, I already know what y'all thinking. So with everybody that joined the room, is there anything that you would like to share? You could type it out, what you have learned and are willing to apply in the new year. More patience and grace. Now, more patience and grace for yourself or for others? Yeah, let's get a little deeper, like if you want more patience for yourself or for others or for both. Okay, so as he's thinking about that, I'm going to start. So, okay, let's see. So I got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things where I kind of feel like they're all together. I feel like okay, so one of the things that here you go. So Boomy said ultimately myself, but absolutely a correlation to others. Okay, yes. So I think that's a good place to start. It's because you can't give to others what you haven't learned to give yourself first. And another thing that you can add on to that is being clear as what's an example of you knowing when you're not giving yourself patience and grace. And you don't have to answer that, but if you want to share, you can, because you want to see that. You want to know. Remember, Aquarius know. And you are Aquarius, so this should be right up your alley. But think about a moment where you see that you're not giving yourself patience or grace. Because if you can see that, if you can see when I'm doing this, I know that this isn't patience and grace, that lets you know that you're on the next layer of embodiment. Because if you can't see when it's not happening, then you're not in the awareness. And Aquarius is about conscious awareness. So you want to start being consciously aware of when you're doing that thing that you do. Because when you're in that stage, transformation is happening. That's a part of the integration. If you're not in that stage, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, you just have to know the level of integration that you are in. Am I aware or am I not aware of myself? Am I aware of myself or am I not aware of myself when it comes to this particular thing that I want to grow and evolve and embody in? Okay, so one of the things for me is no longer proving my point and deciding to back down from conflict. Yes. That is something that I have been working on for years. But now at this stage of my life with so many things that occurred, I'm starting to be in awareness of when I'm in that space of trying to prove myself. prove a point or wanting to argue or not necessarily argue, but not backing down from conflict. I'm seeing it now. I'm seeing it in real time. Does not mean I'll always be like, oh, I'm not going to do that. But now I'm at the stage of I'm doing it. I see myself doing it. Because it's me making that choice. We would like to think that other people are affecting our choice. No, they're just shining a light on the choices that we choose to make by being who they are. Them being who they are helps us see who we've been. So you want to be able to use the people in your life to bring up the stuff, bring up your junk so that you can see it, you know? And some of the things in that, I have some bullets in that, is why why I do that is because I got real good at managing emotions, managing other people's emotions. And the reason why I manage other people's emotions, because that's how I receive safety. That's how I receive control. See, when you are not wanting to back down from conflict, when you are wanting to prove your point or get validated, the root of that is control. The root of that is because you want to be in control. Well, then you got to ask yourself, well, why do I want to be in control? Because when I'm in control, I feel safe. When I'm in control, I feel secure. When I'm in control, I don't have to be vulnerable. See, that's why you want to get to the layers of your action, because you might see what your problem is, but how many layers are you at to where you can get to the root of the problem? The root is right there. Control, safety, security, vulnerability. That's what's the driving force of my actions when it comes to this. And I'm just letting y'all know this is how I process. So maybe you see yourself in this. Boomy says, in adjustment, analyzing, and moving forward. Yeah. So I'm starting to see when I do the thing that I do when I'm managing emotions, because before I didn't know what that meant. I was like, managing other people's emotions. So what that looks like in real time is that I will alter myself and adjust myself so that the other person won't feel nothing. So they will be happy. So they will be pleasing. So that's where the people pleasing comes from, or saying certain things, or being manipulative, manipulating the situation by acting a certain way so that I can manage the emotional field. Because we all affect the field, but everybody doesn't take it in their responsibility to control the field. But we all affect each other's emotional field. But you don't have to like, you're not responsible for the field, but you do affect the field. And so I've made myself responsible. I've decided I'm going to be responsible for how everybody feel, and and I'm deciding this year I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to manage people's emotions anymore. I'm only responsible for my emotions. And also some underlining things when it comes to proving my point and backing down is judgment. When judgment comes, like I'm perceiving the situation in a certain way instead of just allowing the situation to be the way that it is. When somebody brings conflict towards me, it's the judgment. I feel judged. So because I don't like feeling judged, because I be judging, now I gotta be defensive with the other person, when just allowing it to be what it is and allowing them to say what they say, because all they're doing is bringing their perspective to me. That's it. So I don't have to judge their perspective because it doesn't have anything to do with me. I get to decide if I want to be governed by their perspective in life. Like, You know what I mean? Like, that's what it really comes down to. It's like, do you not trust your perspective? Are you going to be governed by someone else's perspective? And that really comes down to self-trust. And I even wrote that down, trust in my journey. All of my stuff is connected. Trusting your journey. And then also focusing on negativity. See, when you are wanting to prove a point and not willing to back down from conflict, it is because you choose to focus on negativity. That's it. When you decide not to focus on the negativity, then you won't feel a need to even go into conflict. Because you trust in the unfolding and you know everything is going to work out and you expect the best possible outcome. And with me being a Virgo rising, this is something I'm really good at. This is something I'm good at. As a Virgo rising, my natural instinct is to manage, is to judge, is to assess, is to focus on the negative and find the solution in it. Okay? That's why it is so important for you to know your astrology and your birth chart, because that's your ego. That's your sense of self. And as much as we want to say we are souls and we are enlightened, how you govern in this world is through your ego. That's how you're able to be here physically, is through the ego. The soul is there, but it's the ego that is usually running the show. So in order for you to elevate the ego, you want to be aware of it. You want to understand it. And that's what the astrology has helped me and so many people get to. So that's why I said all of this right here is that Virgo rising. I already know this is the Virgo rising right here. And I wanted to read something to you with my angel guide, and this was where I pulled the card for compassion. And Boomy, if you are still in here, you might relate to this. So it says, your angels are wrapping a light of compassion around you at this time and guiding you to let go of conflict or the need to prove your point. The more you resist and fight, the unhappier and more drained you will be. Pointing out mistakes or mishaps or concentrating on the negative traits or actions of others will only hold you back. Don't let the unjust actions of others block your experience of joy and freedom. Take time to review where you are in life. You may or where you might be feeling held back or even consumed by frustration and anger. And your angels will shine their light upon you in a situation. I read that last part all crazy. But you know what? I had compassion for myself. So there you go. I ain't judging myself for reading that all crazy. So the goal is to receive more joy. See, I'm deciding to back down from conflict. I'm deciding to no longer prove my point. I'm deciding to no longer judge, because when I let go of those things, what I've decided is to receive more joy and freedom. And that's ultimately what Boomy was saying. He wants more patience and grace, because when he gives himself more patience and grace, he will now receive more joy and freedom. But when he is being impatient, when he's not giving himself grace, what do you think you are receiving? So this is why you want to check into like your belief system. And that's Pisces. That's the Pisces. I didn't even talk about Pisces, because Pisces is like the end. Pisces is the ending, because it's the mutable of winter, then going into spring. So it's the middle. It's the mutable. It's like, okay, you did all of that. Now we're about to change and we're about to initiate. So the next thing, because a lot of this stuff is connected, so I just want to make sure I ain't repeating stuff. Okay, so one thing that I learned is knowing the difference from being a friend versus a mentor. One of the things that I struggled with, you know what? Pretty much all of my adult life is friendships. All of my friendships, like really close friendships, have ended. And the only ones that are still around are the ones to where I don't really see them. I might have one friend that we've been friends since 16 years old, but she and I, we don't even really talk to each other. But I know she's around. We're not talking because there's beef or anything. It's just, we're evolving and growing in different paths. But I know that she's always there if I want to connect with her. And when I think about some of my most important friendships, I realize that they weren't friendships. They were mentorships. Either they were mentoring me or I was mentoring them. But a genuine friendship, it never was. So now when I look at my friendships ending in that framework, it makes sense to me now why they're no longer in my life. Because they were never friends. And with me being a coach, I've met a lot of people along the way that I have coached and mentored that I see that they get me confused as being their friend, and I'm not. I'm your mentor. So when you come to me, I'm going to mentor you. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And I think a lot of times why they might feel a certain way was because they were looking at me as their friend, and I never was. And the way that I know I was never their friend, because I don't think of them and want to go out to them talking to them about anything. So that's how I now can know the difference of friendship and mentorship. Like, is this somebody that I receive value from too? Is this somebody that I want to connect with and it don't got nothing to do with my problems? Is this somebody that comes to me and want to connect with me and not just bringing their problems to me? Like, is this something that I really have set with this year? Because, and what really ignited this in me, I had a friend that we've been friends for a while, for a good 7 years. And our friendship 2 times have ended. And this time that it ended, now I can see clearly why that friendship ended. And it was really hard. This person really affected me. And I know that I affected this person too. Because anytime we come back into each other's life, we are each other's mirror. We are each other's resetter. But now I realize that what we had and what we were not friends. It was a mentorship type of situation. So then when it got too real, one of us will pull away because it was like, whoa. Like, and then we will just completely cut each other off because it's like, okay, and you want to know why I know it's mentorship? Because once we cut each other off, whatever we received, whatever we learned, whatever triggered us, now we take that into our life and apply it. That's how I know. Like, both of the times we blew up, everything that I learned, everything that bothered me, it was exactly what I needed to then take me on to the next stage of my life. And that's where I am now with that. And I was just like, oh, wow. Because I was like hurt. I was like, oh my gosh, we're not friends anymore. But now I realize because we never were. That wasn't the role. And it doesn't mean that you don't have love for the mentor or mentee. It's just that don't make the relationship be something that it's not. And I was starting to get annoyed with friendship because it just seemed like everybody that came into my life, they were always looking for guidance. And I want to be the type of friend that's fun, light, and joy. And then it almost got to the point where anybody that came into my life, I thought where I gave value was my advice and my guidance. And I'm so thankful for the people that has come into my life. Like, I don't need your truth. I don't need your, I'm good. Like, I'm so thankful for those people because I really get to be myself. I get to be light and fun and not having to be concerned about how you are experiencing life or feel like I got to give you any type of advice. And I know that everybody has their own definition of friendship. And I had shared this the other day, but sometimes I think we make friendship be something that is not. Like, your friends can be there for you, but if they choose not to be there for you, it does not mean they're not your friend. It does not mean that they're not your friend. You are responsible for your life, not the people in your life. And everybody going through something. Everybody is going through something. And when you find yourself with the lack of support from your network, don't judge it and be like, oh, they're not here for me, they're not really my friend. No, it's probably because it's time for you to go within. It's time for you to be there for yourself. It's time for you to listen to that voice that's here to guide you. Everybody, sometimes when we try to get advice from people, they're coming from the standpoint of their experience. But everybody has their own journey. So it's at some point in your life when you find yourself alone, it's not because people don't love you. It's not because people don't understand you. It's because it's time for you to love you. It's time for you to understand you. It's time for you to go within and you create a relationship with that voice. And sometimes having so many people around you telling you what you need to be doing, it can be very confusing. And this is how you lose connection to self. So that's what I would say, that yes, have your friends, have the people that you love and care for, but also know the difference too. Also know that if you're in a position like I'm in, where you know that it's a gift, you have a gift of guiding, supporting, insight, channeling, you know you have that gift. You got to have more discernment with that, because everybody that comes into your life, they may not be somebody that you're here to guide. They really could just be someone that's genuinely a friend. And you have to learn how to be a friend, not a mentor, not a guide, not a coach. But then you also have to know there's some people that come into your life that's what you're here to do. But you must learn that boundary within yourself. Not putting boundaries on them is really the internal boundary that you have, that this is who I am, but I get to choose when to turn it on and to turn it off. And yeah, and having more respect for that. Like, I feel like taking myself a little bit more seriously when it comes to like the mentoring and the guiding and coaching. It's like, that's just something that I naturally do, but at the same time, it's like everybody that come into your life don't always need that or don't want that. They just want you. They want your presence, your aura, your energy, and that is good. That's good enough. Sometimes you don't have to do nothing, to be useful to people. Sometimes you're just showing up, being there, and so yeah. So that's where I'm at with that. Okay, so let's see. So the next thing that I have been reflecting on and learning is the other side. When you go on the other side of your fear, then you will find the truth. You will see the truth. See, the reason why we allow our fear to hold us, to make us be still, is because we're not ready to see the truth. That's why we hesitate and we're like, I don't want to go over there, because the truth is over there. Okay, now there are healthy truths. There are healthy fears, like what I'm saying, like knowing what not to do. You ain't gonna touch a poisonous snake. Okay, you don't touch a poisonous snake. You don't go into the wild and pet the animals. Like, that's wisdom. That's wisdom, okay? But a couple since. So what happened real quick is that me and my family left Hawaii, and it was very scary. And so many things had occurred, like we lost our income, and we were living off of our savings, still is. And we decided that we wanted to choose the new and move forward in that. It was very scary. I was so scared. But since leaving Hawaii, the growth, the transformation, the connections, I don't know if I would have gotten to this point if I would have stayed in Hawaii. I really don't. And it was very scary. I remember I was crying every night because I was so scared. But I was still willing to go towards the future. I was still willing to just do it anyways. And I'm so glad that I did. Because now I'm even stronger. Now I'm even clearer. Now so much clarity. And it's just like, oh my goodness. Now I'm really able to see myself for who I really am. Because I faced the fear. And since being here in Playa, it's like I've opened myself, like, if I'm scared, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. And I went to do the zip lining with my family. I was so scared, but I did it. And I'm so glad that I did. And then somebody reached out to me to do the plant medicine. And I did it. And of course, I'm going to talk about that. And with my friendship ending with this particular person, I trusted and I did the thing that made me scared. And it's just amazing what has unfolded because of that. And then just choosing to be myself daily, and the things that are showing up and the transformation and the change that's occurring. It's like, and the new people, so many people that are coming into my life because I'm no longer hiding behind the fear of what people think. And the more that I do that, the more that I'm attracting more people that are soul resonance to me, and versus ego resonance. But it's what I like to say, soul resonance. And it's just, it's really amazing. And when you can get to that point where you can see fear as a navigation to your truth, no telling what you're going to see. Everybody's journey is different. And that's another thing I learned this year. Everybody's journey is different. So there ain't no reason to judge. There's no reason to hate, because everybody's journey is different. We're all living life, and we're all going to experience it differently. And so the next thing, and the most important thing, is my plant medicine journey. I've been talking about this nonstop. Oh, before I continue, anybody want to share, you can put a comment. What have you learned this year? What have you learned about yourself that you're taking with you in 2026? I'll take a brief moment for anybody that wants to comment and share what they have learned and what they're taking with them. And Full Deck said, looking amazing. Nice to see you're doing well. Thank you. Yes, I don't have a choice but to do well in my life. I like to breathe. Okay. So I want to talk about plant medicine journey. So many things. Because y'all, this is one of them things that I thought I would never do. I would never do plant medicine. I didn't have no desire to do any of that. And when it came on my path, because I was ready to face my fear, it showed up. And I was like, all right, I guess we doing that. Okay, full deck said, I'm still trying to master self. Haven't gotten there yet. Okay, so that's a big statement, full deck. Okay, so if you're open to it, let's bring it in and down, because there's something that this year that you have learned. Okay, and there's something, even if it's one thing. When we just say I'm trying to master self, okay, like what does that mean? See, that's a big statement. And when you want to bring it in, and then, like, what does mastering yourself, if you're open to it, because you may not be open to it, but I will just say, anybody that's in my life, let me put that disclaimer, anybody that's in my life is in the coaching mentor container. This is what this is, unless you say, girl, no. Okay, this is what this is. So I am under the assumption when people are in here and they're listening and taking it in, it's because they want to receive. So that's why I ask, and if you're open to it, cool. If you're not open to it, you're gonna ignore me. That's just how I move. But since you did make a statement, that's why I'm like, okay, what does that mean for you to master yourself? Because that master what within yourself? There's so many layers. There's so many pieces of you. And so that's why today I'm giving the example of what mastering myself looks like, but I have different things so that I have an anchor, so I have some points to where what that looks like or where I am today. Because if I just say that so broadly, there's so many things. But because Capricorn is about building, that's why I'm building it slowly. And then Aquarius is about conscious awareness, and I'm consciously aware of what I'm building within mastering myself. So if you are clear or open, just let me know in the comments, and I'm going to keep talking. Okay, so my plant medicine journey is the biggest. I think this is probably like the most transformational thing I've done since being in that cult. Okay, if anybody knows, I was in a spiritual cult back in 2017, and I was in that for about 2 years physically, and then after that, just mentally. So, but that was a pivotal moment. I would say that was a pivotal moment in my expansion, in my growth, in my mastery. There's pivotal. And so for me, this plant medicine journey is a pivotal moment in my journey. It's like there's a pivot right there. Because when I joined that group, it was around my year one. So the plant medicines came to me I'm about to start a year one. So that's what I'm saying. Every 9 years of your life is going to be pivotal, and you want to be aware of that. You want to be like, okay, this is pivotal. This is important. I need to hone in on this. I need to see, so this is why you want to use the numbers and the planets. They are your guide, okay? People get astrology so wrong. They're thinking that it's like, oh, personality. Oh, because I'm this, because I'm that. That's because of this. No, they are guide points on the journey of life. So if you know how to use them and understand them, you know where you are in the journey of your life, okay? And if you're not familiar or comfortable with it, I do readings, and you can hit me up in my bio or my DM, and we can book you a reading so you can be clear about where you are in the journey of your life, okay? So, okay, let's see. I'll pause that. Full deck said, let's see, live a plant-based life to stop allowing fear and depression to get the best of me and to live a purpose. Okay, so with all that being said, this year, that's good. That is really good, full deck. This year, when it comes to plant-based life, not allowing fear and depression to get the best of you and to live with purpose, what have you learned about yourself when it comes to those things? If you are somewhere with a piece of paper and a pen, write that down, because this is good. This is good, because this is what now you'll be able to take with you in 2026. And because now you are bringing it into words, writing it down, what do you think that energy is? That's earth. Now it's real, it's tangible. It's not just here in your head like the air energy. The words made it real. The words made it, okay, this is something this is real. This is the earth energy. Okay? So now I want you to write it down if you can, or maybe screenshot this so you can remember wherever you are. But before we take it forward, I want you to take it back in contemplation and reflection. When it comes to those things, how did they show up to you this year? How did your diet show up to you this year? What was that like? And with the fear and depression, when it gets the best of me, how do you know that it got the best of you? How do you know it's even fear and depression? What has happened? And then these are just reflective questions. If you don't want to answer them here, you don't have to. But it's just, I'm just getting I'm going into the air, the mind now. Okay? How do you know that the fear and depression got the best of you? What actions occur when fear and depression show up? How do you know? Remember, how do you know? The query is, how do you know? Okay? And then, when it comes to living with purpose, see, that's more big, right? That's a big statement. And what I will say to that is, put that to the side, because you already living your purpose. Okay? Put that to the side. Trust that you're already living. You are your purpose. And I think sometimes when we have that statement, it can mislead us. It can make us believe that you aren't who you say you are, because you are you, and your purpose is that. And the more you can let go of living with purpose or finding your purpose, you're going to come into the awareness of it. Okay? And I'm only speaking from my own experience too, because as much as I have done and grown, I got to a place where, like, what is my purpose? And then in my plant medicine retreat that I did, the angel was like, stop asking, okay? If you want to know your purpose, choose something to serve with purpose, okay? If you want to know your purpose, choose something and serve it with purpose. So whatever that one thing is, serve it and put purpose into it. And there you go. And that's what happened with me in plant medicines, is I realized I want to serve people in plant medicines and remembering who they are and integrating it. And then before I know it, like, oh my God, that's what your purpose is. Because then everything that I've been reaching for all these years all came back. I was like, this is why you was learning all of that, because that's your purpose. I was like, oh. So that's what I would tell you, is that just choose something. Like, even if it's like to serve the purpose of plant-based, like, choose plant-based and decide you're going to serve in that category with purpose and see what happens. And even with not allowing your fear and your depression to get the best of you, serve the people that are also in the same fear and depression state and serve them with purpose. You know how it feels to allow fear and depression to get the best of you. So just imagine the people that are going through that, and based on what you've learned and experienced, and you are still here, just imagine what you can offer these people. Now you got to step back and look at everything that's in front of you, because it's your purpose. But and what are you going to, how are you going to perceive it? I put it out. I want to use the conscious words of the reflection and contemplation time that we're in. It's not about do. It's not about do. It's just right now what we're doing is we're reflecting. We're looking at what we know. We're looking at where we are. And then we're looking at how we can build from it. Because it's like we're creating the foundation. We are, that's what we're doing right now. So that's why you want to start asking these questions. And Full Deck said right now everything it makes sense. Yeah, very good. I'm glad that you were able to make sense out of that. So that's good. That's the conscious. But remember, just because something makes sense doesn't mean that we're ready to embody it yet. And that, so you just want to be where you're at. It makes sense. It makes sense. And that's good enough. Because something that makes sense, something that we understand, does not mean that it's initiation time or embodiment. It's just that it's here in my mind. I see it in my mind. And that's the first place that you want to be at. Creation started with thought. So we can start changing how you're just thinking. Then eventually it'll come into what? The body, the earth, and it will take shape. And then when we get into the fire energy of Aries, then the action takes place. Okay? So first it needs to come into the mind, because mind, thought, air is life. Okay? The body needs air, needs life to be able to be alive. Right? So that's why we got to change the thoughts. We got to change the thoughts to make the body come alive. Right now, the thoughts that we have is keeping us dead. We're like, I don't have any thoughts. I'm dead. I'm this, I'm that. But then when we can change the thought and bring in the conscious awareness, the breath, then the body takes new life. And this is why people say they're reborn again. It's a rebirth, because they have new thoughts. They have new breath in them. And that's why it feels like, oh, I'm born again. That is what we're moving towards. And that's why it's so important to take this time to reflect on what you learned and create new thoughts, new perspective. Okay? All right. So Life with Dina says, I like that. Choosing something to serve. Yeah, just choose something. Even if it's cats, go serve the cats. go help people with you know that there is an industry of animals. There's nothing that you can't do that somebody out there ain't looking for. If I said that right, okay. If you have the thought, if you have the interest, there are a group of people waiting for you to bring it to them. Whether it's monetarily or whether it's just pure interest, it doesn't matter. Okay? Thought. This is where we're at right now. Thought. Clearing the thoughts, being aware of these thoughts, being aware of this perception that we had. And the way you know it is based on what you've experienced. And now bring it here, be like, okay. All right? Life with Danae said we have a lot more power than we realize. You better tell it. And that is what my plant medicine journey showed me. We have more power than we realize. And we are harnessing and directing that power in ways that are not serving us. And that is the ego. Okay? But the ego can be fuel for you. It can be something that can help you. But until you come into the awareness of self, it's going to drive you right off the cliff. Okay? You can use the ego to help create the life that you want. But right now, what the ego is doing is creating the life that you don't want. Or is it creating the life that you want? See, the universe doesn't know the difference. The universe just knows what you're thinking. The universe just knows what you're giving your energy to. So the universe and your ego work hand in hand. See, the universe doesn't judge the ego. Just like the universe doesn't judge the soul. But the universe like, all right, that's what you want. Okay. So, because it's only going by what you're thinking and giving your energy to. Okay. So that's why we're doing an audit now. We're doing an audit. We're doing an audit of our thoughts, our intentions, and our actions for this past year. Like, boom. That's what we're doing. So, yeah, so, because I don't want to make this live long, I'm not going to go too deep. So, my plant medicine journey, what I learned within that, for those of you that hasn't been following me so much, is that my plant medicine journey, I didn't have any intentions behind that. It's just that somebody invited me and I decided to face the fear and I went. But I know that it was Source, God, the universe, the Most High, the Creator, whatever you want to call it. I know that it was an invitation and a coming home back to self, back to the energy of all things, because that's what my journey was about. My journey was revealing to me how I was living this life with a closed heart, with a hardened heart, all the way up to this point in my life, 43 years. Well, I'd say maybe as a child, but even as a child, when I was 3 years old and going through what I went through, that trauma. But I know exactly when my heart completely closed, when I was 10 years old, 10 or 11 years old. I know the day. I know the day when my heart closed. And been living with a closed heart ever since. Until I came home to the retreats, back to the jungle, back to nature. And when I took that cacao, that heart opener, with the mushrooms, the golden teacher, that's when I awakened. That's when my heart opened. And it was a floodgate of emotions. My heart was like, oh my God, I've been holding all that all these years. And I just in that one day was enough. Was like, oh my gosh. And then that's when I realized who I was and what this was all about, and all the people that, the reason why I cannot receive what I want is because of my closed heart. But then now that my heart's open, it's just like, it just wants to receive. And then that's when I was able to look at all the people and all the experiences in my life was so divine and so perfect. And I judged them. I hated them. I hated myself. I judged myself. And I kept chasing and running. Because I'm still out there reaching. Because my heart was closed. My heart was like, girl, I'm right here. You just gotta, you got me buried. Please open me up. And I didn't know how. Because I lost connection from my heart because I closed it. And then when I opened it, that's when life made sense again. And then once I took Bufo, it let me know that because of everything and just through life, what has happened and what is preventing you from receiving the light and being the light and being the powerful force that you are is that you hate the very thing that you are. It's the light. You hate the oneness. So I'm out here helping people. I'm out here living my life. I'm out here just being around people the whole time with hate. Hate for myself. So what do you think I'm giving out to the world? Love? How can I give this something that I forgot how to give myself? And so that's what Bufo the Toad showed me, is that you hate the oneness. You've lost your connection with the light, and now it's time for you to come home. And I'm like, okay. So then I took ayahuasca, and I was so scared. because the one thing they tell you, and the one thing that we learn in life, is stop living through expectation, stop comparing yourself, stop judging your journey, and trust it. But even when I went into the ayahuasca ceremony, I was carrying that. Because everybody said the way their journey was, and this is what they did, and this is what they didn't do. And I'm just like, okay. And so now I'm like expecting something. So, but that was a part of the revealing of me. All of that. The expectation, the comparison, the judging. Like, no matter where you are in life, no matter what you gonna do, you're always going to take yourself with you. So the plant medicine just showed me myself in a different angle this time. Like, okay, this is a different angle, but I need you to see that this is how you've been all your life. Okay? Because the plant medicines showed me something that when I was in the cult that I wasn't able to see in a certain way. And then when astrology and human design, I wasn't able to see it in a certain way. So then when I came to the medicines, they're like, okay, here's a different angle. It's nothing new. It didn't put in anything new. It just shined the light, maybe in the north this time. So then I was like, oh, that's what everything meant now. Oh, okay, I can see it. I can see it now. So my journey in the ayahuasca journey was amazing. It was amazing. It was pure love. It was pure joy. It was so much love. That's how I can describe my experience. My experience was pure, and I forgot what love felt like. I forgot what freedom felt like. I forgot. And that's what this whole point of life is, to remember. And everybody will go through their different journeys of remembering. But for me, what really elevated me was when I went on my plant medicine journey, which I should, because I'm nature girl. That's what it's all about. I'm nature girl. In the beginning of this cycle, this 9-year cycle, I became nature girl. So of course, nature girl, she would then go to the plants, to the nature, to remember. So if you are aligned to nature, there's a reason for that. Everybody ain't aligned to nature. Everybody ain't getting downloads in the call to go to nature. But if you are, and you have not partaked in plant medicines, I'm here to tell you, it is a part of your journey. But you will know when the time is right for you. And it just showed me so much about myself. It showed me so much about myself. It showed, and I mean in the most beautiful way. Because sometimes when we're shown ourselves, we're hard on ourselves. And that's like what Boomy was saying, patience and grace. But in that moment, and in that environment with the people I was with, they really helped me have the patience and grace. They really helped me see, girl, you are who you say you are. And just the plant medicines, ayahuasca for sure, showed me my gifts, showed me at my most aligned self. And then the next day we did Washuma, San Pedro. We did that, and then that really helped me. That solidified everything. It solidified the journey. And it was more like bliss and love, connecting with your inner child. And, you know, because your inner child now be like, now you see me, now you hear me. Like, you know, and so now you just coming, you know, becoming one with your inner child and being able to really be there present for the inner child. Yeah, that experience helped me meet my soul and my ego. That experience helped me. And when we say we're more powerful than we realize, I got to see how powerful that ego is. That ego is real powerful. More powerful than we think. And I got to connect with my soul. I got to hear the voice of my soul. I got to be with, and I'm like, oh, wow. So everything that I experienced in that journey is exactly what I needed to experience. Is what it was. It was the shedding and everything, and the shedding is still occurring, but it was exactly what I needed, because we're about to go into the next cycle, y'all, and we don't got time to just be fooling around doing what we've been doing. Okay, so the lesson and the message for that, in all of that, is trusting my journey. And that was the thing that I had to be present to, because a lot of times when it comes to life, we want to hurry up and get to the destination. We don't want to enjoy the journey. We want to get to the end. And that's just, sometimes it's fear. I know for me, when I did the zip line, I did it, but I was rushing to get to the destination because I was so scared that I was rushing to get to the destination. I couldn't even enjoy it. And so then when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay. So I was aware of that. And even like the journey of me and my family moving from Hawaii to Mexico, I saw I was not enjoying the process about it. I saw I wasn't enjoying it. I just wanted to get to where we needed to get to. So that's what I'm saying, that in my plant medicine journey, it just showed me the same. It showed me that. It just showed me that even in the experience with each medicine, I had to, the work for me was enjoying the moment and not trying to get to the next medicine. And even now, with where I am today and with all the medicines that I've taken, people are telling me, some people, not the world, but some people are saying, okay, now that you did that, now you got to do this. And I'm like, no, now that I've done that, now I got to sit down and integrate this. Not, oh, I did this and now go chase another fix or another high or another experience. Like, no, it's like, sit down and enjoy the journey. Sit down. Be here now. What did you learn? Implement that into your life. And I know that if and when it's time for me to partake in some more medicine, that will come naturally, just like it did the first time. I don't think that's what it's about. You know, our lives is about enjoying the journey. And that's what that's what this new year is about. In January is, are you enjoying the journey? Are you enjoying your journey right now? Are you here now? Are you here now? Can you take time to reflect and contemplate on your journey up to this point? And can you be here now where you are? Because I think when we are looking at the beginning of the year as a time for initiation, we're not here now. We're trying to get there now. So that being here now and then looking back at your journey and celebrating that and seeing what you can receive and being where you are now and planting those seeds for when it is time to take that action, you know. And some things you're going to have to repeat. Some things you're going to have to repeat, you know. And then some things you have evolved and graduated and elevated, and you're going to express them in a new way, a more an awareness way. because I think that's what sometimes might hinder people, is that once they become aware of something, they think, oh, now I can change it. And it's like, no. Sometimes the level is, I'm aware of it. That's as good as it's going to get. I'm aware I do that. Yep, I do that. Like, transformation had to occur. Like, transformation, in action and embodiment hasn't occurred yet. But transformation and awareness, I'm aware I do that thing. And no, I don't have no solution to what I'm going to do, but I'm aware of it. That's also wonderful. That's a part of transformation. That's a part of integration. It's starting to be aware of yourself. Okay? Just aware. There's people out here just doing stuff. And they aren't even aware they even doing it. You know what I mean? So congratulate yourself that you are starting to become aware of yourself. And maybe that's all it requires right now, is I'm aware of myself. I'm aware of those things that block me. I'm aware of those things that hinder me. I'm aware of those things that hurt me. I'm aware. I'm aware when I do that thing that I do. I'm aware of that. And that's good enough for where I stand right now. Okay? That's how you give yourself grace and patience. It's just the awareness. Okay? And Full Deck says, salute. Salute Ketzel for sticking it through with your queen. Love y'all's journey. Y'all came a long way. I see the growth. Thank you. Yes, I'm very thankful. That's definitely something that I'm also reflecting on, is relationships, love, and what it means. And I told Ketzel yesterday, I said, I don't tell you enough, but I really enjoyed our journey together so far. And he was just like, what, the journey ends? And I was like, no, the journey hasn't ended, but I can see how much I've judged the journey with you and me. I could see how much I didn't enjoy the journey. I could see how much I wanted to leave the journey from you. But now I'm starting to appreciate the journey, like the journey that me and my husband have been on for 7 years. And if the journey ended today, that's what I'm saying. I just wanted to tell him thank you for being here in my life. Thank you for the experiences and the growth, because we've had an amazing life. Our life has not just been normal. And I said, thank you. I really enjoyed our journey, so far. And he and I know sometimes the way I'll be talking, he'd be like, are you ending it? But I just think for me, I don't attach myself to people or things, and it's me saying thank you for being with open arms. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for sharing this life with me. But my arms are open. So at any time, it's like when it's done, it's done. I'm not like, no, you're mine. Because I know that's not love. I know that's not love. You know what love is? Open arms. Love is not this. Love is open arms. And that does not mean that you just let anybody come in there and take advantage of you. I always got to do this disclaimer. Love does not mean that you just let people do whatever they want. But when you purely love yourself and have the ability to love others, you wouldn't retract that anyway, honey. That's the key. Okay? So you don't ever have to worry. You will never have to worry about when you come into that pure, unconditional state of love and alignment with yourself. You won't ever have to worry about anybody coming in there taking or manipulating. See, what you know of relationships is the part you are attracted because of your heart being closed, because of the pain, because of the control, because of the judgment. So the experience that you know about relationships from then, that's why you attracted that. But when you come into the love of self, when you remember who you are and you being open, You don't have to worry about boundaries. You don't have to worry about manipulation because you ain't on that frequency. See, we will attract what frequency we on. That's why we attracting them fools. Because we on the same frequency. Okay? Think about that. Think about people that has the most, and a lot of people be like, well, that's victim shaming. The fact that you even calling yourself a victim tells me everything. Person that remembers who they are, a person is in a state of pure love and alignment, that ain't even their language. They ain't victim. What? They don't identify themselves in that way. So that's why I'm saying you don't have to live this life with protection, with guarding. Okay, because you're living life on the highest frequency of the earth plane existence. So what you think you're gonna be attracting? You know what I'm saying? So it's like now you're moving when you move in a state of trust and a state of knowing and expecting the best possible outcome. You aren't going to attract those people. They're not even going to you. You ain't even going to see them. You ain't even going to. You know what I'm saying? And even if you did attract somebody like that, well, where you are now in your growth and your remembrance, you're not going to take what they say in personal. You're going to know that's a reflection of them, what they got going on. You ain't over there looking for them to give you nothing that they can't even give themselves. So that's where the shift in energy changes. That when you open your heart, when you remember who you are, and when you start embodying it, I'm telling you, you're going to know how powerful you are. It ain't going to be nobody or nothing that can make you feel any differently. See, the reason why people got to talk about these boundaries and got to say all these things is because, remember, they're protecting their heart. Okay? So, of course, they got to have they got to be in that framework and talk about I'm protecting myself and boundaries and I'm not going to be doing. This is where the compassion comes. Of course, they're there because their heart is closed. Of course, they're there because they have not remembered who they are. Of course, they're there because they don't even know. They don't even remember what this is all about. They are experiencing themselves on different frequencies. So they don't know that. They don't know that. So you gotta have compassion for people that is like that because they literally just don't know what's going on. And you want to send them love. Just send them love. Like, baby, you get that because I got that. I was just like you. And let's go for love in all the wrong places. And wonder why I got crumbs, okay? Because that's what I've been giving myself. That's what I thought I deserved, was some crumbs. So therefore, that's what I'm getting. And so now, that I went home, that I went back to source. Let me tell you something. It's so funny. It's funny to me now. It's funny to me now. But it's work to do. There's work to do, and but it's aligned work. It's exciting. It's exciting now. Okay, it's exciting for me now. So, and I continue to just be in awe of just the things that I continue to receive now because now my heart has the capacity to receive more, and this is why you want to do what you can do to open your heart so that you can receive. So now that life isn't just concept, now you feel it. You gotta feel life, y'all. You gotta feel the pain. You gotta let yourself feel it, but let it go. You gotta let yourself, don't be afraid of feeling life. But at the same time, don't attach yourself to what you feel. Let it go through you. Let it go through you. Because a lot of times people, they do feel life and they attach themselves to the pain, to the hurt, to the suffering, and they don't let it go. No, Let that shit go. Like, feel it, but then let that go. You know, even with the love and the joy and the happiness and freedom, feel it, and let that shit go. Let it out. Let the love out. Let the joy out. Let it out. You gotta let it all out. Let it go through you, and then let it out. Because that's how you amplify. That's how you expand your aura, by just letting it out. Just letting all that, feel it and let it out. You know, and that's what plant medicines did for me. Yes. And so the place that I went to is Amara Sanctuary. They're having a retreat January 22nd through the 26th. I highly recommend you connect with the people at Amara Sanctuary. Talk to them. Or you can talk to me about it if this is something that you want to reset, initiate, anything. It would be going to the plant medicines, going back to nature. Let them work through you. That's what I say. That's the gift you want to give yourself. It's going back to nature. Yeah, going back to nature. And if you do partake in any plant medicines, I have to reiterate, make sure it's a plant medicine ceremonially. Go through it in a ceremony, not just with your friend and they just so happen to have something and they give it to you. No, this is sacred, and make sure you partake in them ceremonially. And I'm so glad that my first experience was that. Was that for sure. But yeah, so I think I am complete with what I want to say for now. That's where I'm at with my revelation, contemplation, and what I've learned, and what I'm applying, what I'm going to apply in my life. Okay, Full Deck said, continue to nurture your higher self as it continues to give back to you. Don't let it go. Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's not about like holding on to it because then you think, oh wow, no, it's just like allowing. I'm receiving my higher self. I'm opening myself to receive because it's an infinite energy. So that's why I said open. Remain open. Remain open to the possibilities of life at all times. If there's anything in you that hesitates with that, then that's a part of the journey. That's your work. Pay attention to how you feel. Don't pretend. Don't spiritual bypass and acting like you good when you ain't good. Don't affirm yourself away, knowing good damn well you don't believe what you are saying. And I did a video about that. Don't say affirmations if you don't believe them. I mean, it's better than not saying them, but yeah, be honest. This is the time to be honest with yourself. Okay? And so I'm going to go. And if you need any additional support or guidance, the 3 things I offer is a 30-minute complimentary session with me. Maybe you don't want to commit. Maybe you don't want to give me your money. Okay? I get it. Or wherever you are in life. I offer a 30-minute complimentary session. And then the next thing I offer is birth chart reading. Remember your path reading. I recommend everybody on a spiritual journey get a birth chart reading. You don't got to get it from me, but I wholeheartedly believe that everyone should invest in a reading with someone. Even I had got a reading. I paid for a reading with another astrologer, okay? And then I'll also offer conscious family sessions with anyone that has family, that has children. You know, you want to be more consciously aware in your family dynamic. I also offer that too, okay? And I hope you have a wonderful new year. And if you have any questions, you can hit me up. And comment below what you have learned and what you're going to apply in your life for 2026. Okay?